36, episode 36. Today we're talking about how to stay relevant in our 40s in the creative industry. Well, no, but I think
What a start.
I think the sector that we're in is relevant to this, because if you're of a certain age, but you're in a certain career, it doesn't matter. If you're an accountant at 41, it's probably a great age to be an accountant. If you're 50 in account, like it doesn't make any difference whatsoever. But I think in the creative industry, especially as lots of people coming into the creative industry are younger and they're sort of pushing things forward, either out of uni or then maybe their first self-employed job or whatever. I think it's more of a relevant discussion for us in the creative industry rather than other careers.
And I guess some of those other jobs, like accountancy, for example, the older you are, perhaps would just say experience.
Wouldn't be a bad thing, is it?
Experience, trusting.
Yeah,
He's obviously been around for a while doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And there's only so much you can innovate in accountancy, I'm guessing, because it's all money and numbers.
Yeah. It's quite a binary. It's either right or it's wrong. Whereas in our sector, you've got to think about the clients that you're taking on, because they will get to a point where a lot of your customers are younger than you, potentially, but also marketing techniques and sort of staying relevant. And if there's, in my game, for instance, if there's videographers and photographers still shooting on film, it's going to be pretty difficult because things have moved on. And obviously what we're going through at the moment is the equivalent of that in terms of AI. The people that are completely against it and just sort of ignoring it basically will be possibly the ones that get left behind. So staying relevant with actually what's happening in your sector is really important, isn't it? And working out how you fit into that, if you do at all, potentially.
So how can you make sure you stay relevant when, for example, I haven't thought of that example yet, I'm just padding to give myself time to think. For example, well, what you said on a previous episode was you're stopping doing wedding shoots, because it's a young man's game.
Yes.
Ish.
Yeah.
What was the thinking behind that? And if you put aside the fact that you might not want to do them anymore, or it's getting harder for you to do those full intense days or whatever, why would someone hire someone younger than you?
Yeah. Well, if you think about the ages that most people get married, it's in between 20 and 35.
Yep.
Generally speaking. And people that are that age are going to be going on social media. They're going to see the images that they like, and the images that they like and see are going to be the ones that are being produced by the people that are very good and absolutely are on trend, basically. Yep. Now, yes, of course, if you're a wedding photographer, you can always stay within that. But I had no interest in that, so it comes down to every year it would get more difficult and more difficult, unless I wanted to dedicate myself to it. And if you dedicate yourself, I mean, I've got a mate who's 49 going on 50, still doing quite a lot of weddings, but he's a young 49, 50, and he probably looks 35, 40.
Like me.
Pretty much, yeah. Give or take a couple of years, give or take a couple of decades. And so it kind of works for him. But I think, I mean, if you're what you'd call like an old 50-year-old, maybe you dress in a certain way, maybe you look like a geography teacher, like however good your images are, it's going to be difficult to stay relevant. And so I think depending on, so it comes down to, where your customers are, I suppose.
And I suppose that thing can also link up. It doesn't necessarily need to be just your age, like what you mentioned there about how you dress. So how a person is sometimes depicts where they end up as well in business. Like if you insist on wearing a t-shirt and ripped jeans all the time, then you probably won't get wedding gigs.
Well, you will, but for certain people.
Well,
but
yeah. But
broadening it out, yeah. Unless that is you're probably actually better off doing that, as that's your brand, and then that's fine. But exactly that. Is it? I suppose it's a bit different for us because, especially if you're doing a project where you're doing all the shooting, I'm more customer facing, like literally in that space with someone. Whereas you could dress how you like. Your voice is your voice, isn't it? So how do you stay relevant?
I've done a job in my pants before.
Have you? What job was that? Was it for a pant company? Was it?
No.
Were you going method? Is that what we're saying?
No, it was a few years ago. There was a very, very hot summer, and it was before I'd had my dedicated booth, which actually stays very cool in the summer.
That's good to know.
You should come around and try it sometime.
In my pants?
In your pants. You won't need to be in your pants. You wear your dressing
gown. I won't need to be, but I want to be. There's no need
this
about
is veering slightly.
It is on you.
And yeah, it was just so hot. And I was in this sort of fort that I'd built out of mattresses, pillows, sleeping bags, and I was literally dripping with sweat. And the only way to get cool during this job was to strip off and just stay in my pants.
Yeah. And so two questions. Did they like the job?
Yeah, they couldn't hear anything other than my voice.
Okay. And did you tell them?
Probably not, no.
No. So it wasn't that kind of client where you could say, "Oh, by the way, it's really hot."
Just say, Ben, I was in my pants.
Okay. So I don't have that luxury on a shoot.
Yeah.
If I've got the camera rolling, I can't just strip off.
But if someone finds me on my website and the first thing they see is a photo, let's say in 20 years, and a good voice actor. So my voiceover coach, she has been doing it for 40 years. So she's in her mid-60s now, I think. Can still do a voice that sounds like she did when she was 20.
That's incredible.
So when someone comes to her website and sees that she's of a certain vintage, do they even get to the demo reels if they've got someone open who is in their 20s and they want that voice?
Yeah.
It just depends how they come across you, I suppose. Because if someone hears my voice somewhere out on the radio or something, we want him.
Totally different.
Doesn't matter how old he is, because it wouldn't even be a consideration because they just won't know. Do you find that perhaps staying relevant you have to think of it differently? So staying relevant, you will always have your clients would just either grow with you or they will change to people that you are relevant to.
Yes. And I suppose then the question is, as you get older, potentially your customers get older, because but there's obviously a limit to that. And is there enough market for that? So it's probably better if you could work with slightly younger people, because then you've got more longevity. But I would say that you kind of can't force that, because I don't think there's anything worse than seeing someone to try and be something that they're not.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work at all. And you know what I mean by that. It's so you're better, the A word again. You're better being your authentic self and seeing where that takes you, I suppose. How do you stay relevant in terms of what's on trend, or do you even bother? Looking at you now.
Thanks, mate. I have got a rather fetching forest green.
Suits you, that brings out your eyes.
I don't really like it. All of my hoodies are covered in these bubbles.
Okay.
I need to get lots of new ones.
I tell you that my problem with that hoodie, it's got a zip.
Oh, you don't like the zips hoodie?
I've got an irrational hatred. Hatred's a strong word.
Do you know why I prefer zip hoodies though?
So when it's hot, you can strip down in your pants easier.
No. It's so that it's actually the opposite. So when I do take it off, my t-shirt doesn't ruck up and people see my body.
Your six pack.
Give or take.
Give or take 6.
It's a 12-pack, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
What was the question?
How do you stay relevant on trend?
I don't really. Like, you see the things on, I don't know, LinkedIn, because that's where I frequent. Of like when everyone was making those AI toys of themselves.
Great, weren't they? Bore off.
Tell us how you really feel. So I didn't do that because I think going back to 2 episodes ago when we were talking about values.
Oh yeah,
originality, or three episodes. To me, jumping on a trend like that is chasing the numbers, and those numbers won't really mean anything because you're just getting that visibility because it's within that thing that's exploding.
And also, if this is something that's just come to me, but if you've noticed that lots of people are doing it, well, you've lost, because by the time you get on that trend, it's too late anyway.
Yeah, it's too late
because everyone will be sick of seeing that stuff if you've noticed it.
Yeah. So I don't follow trends most of the time. Now I don't even use hashtags. I just post what I want to post.
Yeah.
Try and keep it I don't know. I was going to say semi-sensible, but I don't most of the time.
Well, it's you. Yeah. It's you.
And I think that's really important to do that, because people are finding out who you are through what you're posting, not because you're doing the same thing as 2 million other people.
Well, exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, just being original. I guess I'm trying to create my.
Be careful here.
My own trend.
Yeah.
For me,
trendsetter.
You know, and if people don't like it, then I just won't work with them, and that's fine. You know, it's a filter in and out.
Yeah. But what about? And I'm asking this because in the visual world, I used to think it's really, really important to know what trends are out there, because potentially that's what customers are going to be seeing, and that's what customers may be wanting. So I think it's very important to know what's out there, whether you choose to do it, or if you want to do it, that's a different thing. But maybe knowing potentially how to do it just in case.
Yep.
That could take your business down a different direction, of course. But so in my world, the visual world, you kind of need to at least be aware of what's going on. Is that the same for you in terms of?
Yeah, I think so. So when I first got into voiceover, it was changing into the trend of real voices. So just conversational type, chatty sort of things. Whereas historically, it had always been the BBC sort of stuff for everything. You know, whether it was selling a car or a Christmas card, it was all the same sort of stuff for a long time. So it is important to keep on top of those changes in the industry, so that you can be aware of it, perhaps upskill or learn another sort of complementary skill.
Even if you know about the trends, and then when a customer or client comes to you and says, "Yeah, I know about that trend, but I don't do it because of this."
Yes,
just to be aware, but you don't want to be blindsided by it.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah. So it's keeping abreast of the situation.
Oh yeah,
I think. I absorb a lot of stuff from voiceover forums and things like that, like what people are doing, and also listening to other people's demos and stuff. Just hearing what is being produced.
Keeping your finger on the voiceover pulse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So, in terms of how you stay relevant in, say, in 10 years, so without giving away your age, you're going to be reasonably close to 60 in 10 years, like give or take. If you were 60 now, do you think you'll be looking at changing your business? Or I mean, how long have you got of doing this method of your current method, I suppose?
I think one of my goals that I spoke about will help with this. So I'm planning to go into the audio production side of things.
Yeah.
Voiceover will be the main bag still. But in years to come, that audio production, in theory, will take over, because I will be the trusted demo producer. Oh, he's done it for years. He'll sort you out. Sort of thing. Yeah. With the voice stuff, there's a market for older voices anyway. I was wondering if I could get away with the photo that I'm using now, get them redone every year, but then in some twat in sort of 10, 15 years, go back to the one for now, be like, yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
And then just never go anywhere.
Well, you just can't be seen. Otherwise, you'll be catfishing people, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah, good point.
And we've all seen, I mean, the brilliant headshots that have taken like 12 years ago. And then you're meeting that person, you look through them because they look like a different person. Is that you? Okay. So that's exciting in itself. The fact that you've got something that you're working on with no pressure short term, but you're looking long term.
Yeah.
And maybe the voiceover comes down a bit, but then the production side of it comes up.
See, I'm just working in a different part of that industry.
Yeah.
Where I guess it doesn't matter as much the age. And really it shouldn't matter the age of voice actors, because we put on voices, to be different ages.
Yeah.
But I still think humans naturally will deviate to what they like.
I suppose the relevancy for you is you're more concerned about what's happening in the industry. And so you're not being left behind on technology, pricing, customer demands.
Yeah.
But I suppose, that happens organically because you're doing it so much. In terms of, if I ask that question of what I wanted the business to be at, say, 60, and I think we've had this chat, it's a bit different for me because part of my job is physical, and obviously maybe that's going to be something like lugging stuff around at 60 or 70, or because I never want to, retire. But maybe it could be a similar kind of thing to you, just doing slightly less shooting, but more business development and editing.
Yep.
And bringing that balance in. I think but then you've still got to be, especially on the editing side, having an interest in the industry and seeing the trends.
Does it just feel odd thinking about 20, you know how a lot of social media videos now are very fast paced, cut, kind of in your face, lots of words everywhere, colourful.
Yeah.
Really dating myself with this terminology.
Yeah.
But do you think you would feel odd knowing that someone who was 60 had edited one of those to look like that? Because you know that it's a very fresh, youthful kind of feel to those videos.
That's a great question.
Thanks.
I probably would. I think, it would be a mixture of, that's unbelievable that he or she is still in the game and creating that on-trend stuff. That's brilliant. But, I know, but again, I think it comes back to the person, doesn't it? Because I know some 60-year-olds who still, are fit and healthy and they dress a certain way and their age is massively below that. It could be mid-40s. So I suppose it depends if you're like an old 60-year-old or a young 60-year-old. It's an interesting one, though. But I do think, but just going back to the sort of the relevancy thing, I do think that if that editor looked like an old 60-year-old, I think they would be prevented on getting those gigs if there was any kind of face-to-face meeting, unless their body of work was unbelievable.
Yep.
And the client had seen that before the meeting. Because the first thing you'd think is, well, this is a young person's game. This is about volume. This is about quick turnaround.
Do you think there would be an element of, like, if you was having, as a 60-year-old, having a meeting with a 30-year-old who was hiring?
Yeah.
There would be an element of you sort of trying to convince them why it's okay to hire someone who's older.
Yeah. Yeah. And where I suppose you lean into the experience and I've been doing this for so long that you could do edits inside out and backwards, I suppose.
It's a whole other discussion though, isn't it? Like the perception of age and all of that sort of thing. Does it matter?
Absolutely. But I do think that there's certain jobs when you're lacking experience and it really is all about quick turnaround and speed and just being tied to your desk basically for 12 hours and just pumping out content. Like that's what I'm seeing now in terms of trends is there's a lot of what's called social first editors. So they're really not interested in longer form, anything longer than a minute, really. But this is super, super short. But it's just about getting the footage, cutting it up, putting it out there. And it's just, but they're using the trends that are out there and the templates, and then just but everything kind of is kind of similar until the trend changes, of course. Yeah, interesting. Well, if we're still doing
bring
this,
us home.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. 20 minutes. So I suppose if we're
I know where this is going.
What?
Well, if we're still doing the podcast when we're 60.
Yeah. We're aligned. Firstly, public maths is not my strong point, but we'd probably do 25 a year times 10. So it'd be episode 280-ish.
Imagine that. Imagine it. That doesn't seem that many for a couple of 60-year-olds, though, does it, to have done by that point?
No, there's lots of people that have got 500 episodes already. So maybe we need to push it to weekly, daily podcasts.
That's where it's at.
Yeah, that's the way. All right. Well, I think you're a trendsetter. I think you're a trailblazer, mate. I don't think you need to worry about staying relevant. I think you're hip.